All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies, and we start off with the Daily Nation.
Yes, storm over Gachagua gun attacks. That's a bigger story there. And of course, a lot of discussion still coming from what happened at that church in Wetima, Othaya, over the weekend, actually on Sunday. More pictures coming from there. We have a picture of the vehicle. Apparently, this is Gachagua's vehicle with a huge hole on the rear windshield, and people scampering for safety with a lot of smoke in the background. That place is so peaceful. Hata mbuzi inaweza cross barabara, and they have tarmac roads, very nice roads, but mbuzi inaweza cross barabara pole pole, hakuna gari inakuja, alafu unaleta tear gas huko, surely. So the clergy has condemned Sunday's disruption of a church service attended by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and demanded an end to the desecration of places of worship by police officers and goons. Watu waogopi Mungu siku hizi. Narusha tear gas ndani ya kanisa. And this is not the first time we're seeing. Inaendelea kuhappen every time. 10
times.
So they've actually given us a chronology of such events all the way from November last year.
2024.
2024, yes. In Limuru. That was a funeral. December that same year. Tear gas meeting in Shamata. April. Security men battle goons in PCA Mwiki. February 2025, crusade in Kamukunji grounds. I think he ilikuwa ile bishop, the spouse of the former deputy president. July of last year, Gachagua again at AIPCA Kigumu Moranga, accosted there. August, armed youth attack former DP while returning from a political tour of the US. That's when he was on Mombasa Road. November last year, tear gas, campaigning in Narok. November again, Thanksgiving PCA Kariobangi, Vita. January this year, AIPCA Gatundu South, Vita. Tena a few days later, Nyeri, Vita. So they quote Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapito of the Anglican Church, who says, what unfolded at ACK Wetima grieves us deeply. God's children were hurt within the very place meant to shelter them. Children struggle to breathe where prayers should rise freely. And the concern is, fine, political rivalry ni kitu ya kawaida. But do you care about other people? Kanisani kuna watoto wadogo.
Wazee.
Kuna wazee. Kina nyanya na wengine wazee wamezeeka, hata wanaenda tu kuombewa, wengine ni wagonjwa, wanaenda kanisani waombewe wapone. Alafu unarusha tear gas huko. Sababu the person you oppose ako huko ndani, ama whatever the script was, who cares? But either way. How learners who cannot read are progressing to junior school. That's another story on matters education. Pale juu, some wanasema nini? Half of the learners in grade 6 can neither read and comprehend. That's a grade 3 level English story. No solve numeracy problems for that class. We, ni kama watu hakuna kitu wanashikanisha.
CBC.
Lakini wanaenda grade 6. Yeah. Now hizi soma ya grade 3. That story is on page 2. All right. Kule ndani, interesting stories from D to B. A mother of 2 revives nursing dream after 15 years pause. Alafu yule, that young girl who hugged a tree, her record has officially been confirmed. The Guinness World Records has confirmed 22-year-old environmentalist Rufena Muthoni as a holder of the longest marathon tree hugging record after she sustained the embrace for 72 hours. Kuna ule mwingine alifikisha 79, lakini hakuwa officially apply to the Guinness World Record. Yeah, you know, so ni kama kuvunja. Then yesterday there was a big meeting at State House, a UDA meeting, and we'll be having one of those members of that party with us today, the MP for East Africa Legislative Assembly, Bwana Ole Sankok. Na rais akasema kwa ile election inakuja next anashinda na 3 million votes. Wacha ile 233,000 ya 2022. 3 million votes. Carrick says Man United must ride wave of confidence because they do lack confidence. They have a deficit, a serious deficit of confidence. Manu, wote. Go back page, pale Daily Nation. That's a Daily Nation. Let's move on.
All right. The Star, yes. 1 in 10 Nairobi men struggling with
erectile disorder. Ile vita yote tuko nayo, zile shughuli tuko nazo mingi za kisiasa na za maendeleo na za MPs. Kwa nini tunazungumzia mambo kama haya kwenye front page leo?
Now, erectile dysfunction is when a man has trouble getting or keeping an erection that is strong enough for sex. This is on page 2 of the Star.
It's actually on page 1.
See maneno ya Ann Odida iko hapa. The new finding lands her in a city that prides itself on youth, hustle, and bravado. right? And the findings also challenge the common assumption that erectile problems only affect older men. Now, hii story is very interesting na nitawasomea kidogo. Contrary to traditional belief that ED is solely an issue of older men, recent data indicate a worrying increase in ED among younger males. The study led by urologist Dr. Crispin Oluoch says.
Most participants reported cigarette smoking, cannabis use, alcohol abuse. Hapo kwa cannabis kwanza Gen Z, sijui atasaidika na
how many age between 18 to 35 years. All right, other quick headlines. Inside Wipers bid to position Kalonzo for Ruto showdown. That's another story on page 6. Kule juu matters politics as well. Handshake gaps, open door for Ruto and Raila strongholds. That's the stuff. Fresh, independent and different. Very fresh, independent and different today. It's not for self, so grab a copy.
Being a Tuesday, it comes with a complimentary MyGov pull out for government tenders and jobs. Fresh, independent, different. Grab yourself a copy of this one. Now, ameandika hapa bei lakini ya leo haulipi. That's a star. Business Daily, KRA catches 392,162 in tax evasion crackdown. Kenya Revenue Authority detectives have identified that number of firms and wealthy individuals, I love that, wealthy individuals that owe it a total of 759.7 billion shillings. That alone can fund the entire education sector for a year. This sets the stage for travel bans, asset freeze, and deactivation of personal identification numbers. Once your PIN is deactivated, you cannot do anything. Hata ukitaka kununua nini unaambiwa, where is your PIN? Hii PIN yako ni kama ifanyi kazi. So 759 billion shillings owed to KRA by firms and wealthy individuals. Kwanza hapo kwa wealthy individuals. Other stories here, local firms buy extra 14.5 billion shilling NSE shares. Trade in the Nairobi Stock Exchange or Securities Exchange is really growing, and especially in the last few months. A few months towards the end of 2025 and even this year, inaenda tu ikienda juu. Big contractors on the ticker. Big contractors reject interest waivers on road projects debt. But why? Big ticket contractors, mainly Chinese-owned firms, have rejected a push by the government for a waiver of interest charged on the 650 billion shilling debt. Oh, okay, now I get it. It's the other way around. KCB gets green light to auction T-Firms assets over 1 billion shilling loan. Nani billions tu. Kila mahali billion tu. Jana tuko nazungumzia mtu akona deni ya 8 billion.
8.2.
Unatembea hii town hivi uko na deni ya 8 billion.
Must be nice, the wealthy. All
right, Business Daily.
Taifa Leo, Nani anawinda Gachagua. Ukatili, tukio la kusikitisha Jumapili katika kanisa la Witima ACK Othaya Nyeri ni la hivi punde katika msururu wa visa vya aina hiyo. Wakuu wa usalama wakijumuisha Murkomen, Inspector Generali wa polisi, mkurugenzi wa DCI na wengineo wanasema hawajui nani aliyepanga uhuni huo na kuahidi kufanya uchunguzi. Je, ni nani anayehusika na unyama huo? Maafisa wa serikali wamekana kuhusika katika uvamizi hatari ambao Rigathi anasema ulilenga kumuua. Sasa
maafisa wa serikali wanasema hawakuwa, lakini wale polisi tuliona walikuwa ama si wa serikali, sio maafisa wa serikali.
Na government vehicles.
Na gari za GK za polisi. Hizo si za serikali.
Si za serikali.
Kuna mtu mahali ako na gari zake za polisi. Anakaa tu nazo mahali.
Na tear gas pia wananunua police for
Government issued GK47 and tear gas canisters. Ziko kwa mikono ya raia.
Vidokezo zaidi, umri wa kula pesa za Inua Jamii huenda ukapunguzwa. Wizara ya tathmini pendekezo la kupunguza umri huo kutoka miaka 70 hadi miaka 60. Uhuru sasa kumwachia Matiang'i mikoba rasmi. Mabadiliko ya uongozi kumpa Matiang'i jukumu kamili kura za mwaka ujao. Walioasi UDA wahudhuria kikao cha Ruto Ikulu. Rais aongoza mkutano wa baraza kuu ambao wa Mushomba, Koemburi walihudhuria.
Niliona hata yule nominated MP anaitwa Sabina Chege there. And from what I know and from the records, Sabina Chege is still a member of Jubilee Party. I don't know how she decided to go for a UDA meeting, but anyway, interesting.
Mambo ya siasa.
Mambo ya siasa ni magumu.
Serikali yaongeza pesa za elimu ya bure ya msingi kule juu. Kila mwanafunzi wa shule ya msingi kulipwa shilingi 2,300 si shilingi 1,100.
Lakini pesa zenyewe zitafika ndio swali.
Next season yanukia tena Arsenal ikila rungu la Man U. Hiyo ni habari katika ukurasa wa nyuma wa gazeti.
Tunazingatia habari kuu, kuna habari zingine ndogo ndogo kama hizo atashughulika nazo leo. Arsenal wako tu sawa. Gazeti la Taifa leo tuende kwa People Daily. From pledges to blunders, executive lapses they call it. They're talking about missteps tainting Ruto's government. This is almost 4 years into his presidency. And the things that have been overruled by the courts so far, the appointment of 21 advisors who cost the government about R1 billion a year, the creation of 50 chief administrative secretary positions, while going to a CAS, hiyo ikakataliwa. Formation of the victim compensation panel ikakataliwa. Executive orders on public service hiring, nullification of state corporation hiring guidelines, nullification of the establishment of a task force on addressing human resources for health, formation of a 23-member task force on police reforms, the merger between, this is a funny one, the merger between Amani National Congress and the United Democratic Alliance. Jana aliyekuwa wakati mmoja kiongozi wa chama, lakini according to the court he's still the party leader. Alikuwa amevaa ile scarf ya UDA and speaking very strongly as a UDA member. Lakini koti imemwambia wewe rudi ile nyumba hujabomoa vizuri, rudi huko. And the orders prohibiting the upgrading of JKIA through a Nani deal. These are just some of the things that the president had hoped or tried to do but were overruled by different courts. So they're calling it executive lapses. Other stories, pale juu, Khair Mohammed taking youth first politics from parliament to Garissa. That's a female politician. They've done a special feature for her in this paper. Why Orengo could shape ODM's direction ahead of the 2027 presidential race. James Orengo, the Siaya governor, appears to be one very controversial figure, especially within ODM. Sasa kila mtu anasema Orengo utaona. And I don't know, interestingly, he's been very quiet. He's not as noisy, but everyone is mentioning him now. So that story in the inside pages, page 10. A lot of politics and matters government.
All right, finally, the Standard, the untouchable. Impunity, they say. Two powerful Mount Kenya politicians, Murang'a woman representative Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamombi, are at the center of explosive claims linking them to violent disruptions of former Deputy Rigathi Gachagua's church meeting. Fred, the director, is speaking to you.
Oh, all right. Anasema nini?
All right, while we wait for that. Now, as disturbing scenes involving women and children emerge, the alleged actions have made a mockery of the title Honorable, while police inaction has reignited fears that some commanders may be acting at the beck and call of politicians with influence, not the law determining who is questioned, arrested, or left untouched, raising hard questions about impunity and whether some leaders are truly untouchable.
Interestingly, these two leaders, that's the MP for Mathira and the Murang'a woman rep, appear to have a lot of details about the attack. Ndo walikuja wakasema the goons converged, sijui wapi, wengine wakasema mpaka walikuwa wamepanga vile tear gas itakuwa kwa ofisi ya nani. How come the police are not going or summoning them to explain this further? We'll be looking at this and a lot more with my panelists this morning, and I can see already in studio we have the MP Embakasi North, James Gakuya, and also the MP East Africa Legislative Assembly, David Ole Sankok. Good morning, gentlemen. Karibuni sana. A lot to talk about. I understand you're going to Naivasha, Bwana Gakuya, later today. So you'll be telling us more about what's happening there.
Right, this morning.
Yes, this morning. Yes. And Bwana Sankok, you'll be telling us about the plans for East Africa. We can see after elections in Uganda and Tanzania. Should we expect what we saw there here in Kenya?
The peaceful election, huh?
Where was the peaceful election? In Tanzania?
Both Tanzania and Uganda.
And Uganda.
Yes.
So we should expect the same kind of peace.
And very democratic election.
Very democratic and peaceful.
Yes.
We should expect the same in Kenya. All right, we'll be engaging them later on.
Peaceful elections.
Peaceful elections. It's relative.
Right.
Right.
Tukiangalia the inside pages of the Standard, free education, that's a question they're asking on page 2, only in name as parents shoulder rising school fees. And they say despite promises of free education, Kenyan parents face rising costs for uniforms, fees and admission levies. Prison officers jailed for aiding escape of varsity attack terrorists. Unakumbuka hii, I think in 2024, those 3 gentlemen escaped Kamiti prison. Do you remember that?
Yes. And they disappeared.
They disappeared.
Never to be seen again. Hata ule mwingine wa ile place ya Kware.
Yes.
Alienda too, he just walked away and disappeared.
This is a very interesting.
And the way it was so easy to catch him and to arrest him.
Was it Jumaisi?
That one.
Is power couple Ruto's weapon against Rigathi? Power couple. This story here, Betty Maina and of course Eric Wamombi. High Court suspends state legal deals after misuse allegation. Watchdog role in question as MPs hold luxury retreat. Luxury,
hapo kwa luxury. Anasema they're spending too much money.
Kwani upendi luxury?
No, it's about audits. Members of parliament apparently wanaenda Naivasha for 5 days.
Yes.
In a luxurious resort.
And that story about NSSF on page 8. More pain for employees as new NSSF rates set to come into force. The mandatory monthly contribution for employees jumped to a maximum of 6,480 shillings from the current 4,320. Now yesterday the Star was reporting to 7,200.
Yes, that was a Star.
Yes. Today the Standard is reporting 6,480. Don't get confused. Jana tulisoma hiyo. On the back page, Man United keep Arsenal's mouth shut and lip sealed. Okay. Gunners are now 3 without a win in the top flight.
Sisi ni wanyonge tumenyamaza.
Hatuna maneno. Karik releases Man United opportunity after stunning Arsenal. Wacha asikie nimebucha hiyo jina. That's the Standard this morning.
All right, so those are the local dailies and we'll be looking at them with my panelists in a short while. Let's take a look at the cartoons this morning.